What's going on, Flicks Talkers? Back with another review, this time for Dark Phoenix. I don't know whether they're not calling it X-Men Dark Phoenix, but it is an end of a Fox era. They're going over to Marvel. That's why I'm wearing my Marvel hat and my Marvel gear all right here, guys, because I cannot wait for the Marvel Disney merger for the X-Men universe, and I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm meeting up with my buddy Jeremy right now, so I'm gonna run over there and let's see if we can get some of his thoughts on camera on what he expects this Dark Phoenix movie to be like, if he's excited for it, if he thinks it's going to be a complete fail. Rotten Tomatoes does have this film at 23%, and it's staying in the low 20s, guys, so I don't know. Rotten Tomatoes has been kind of crazy lately, but I don't know. I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I love this X-Men franchise. I love all the characters, though some of the writing isn't the greatest, and the story is very convoluted with, you know, them going back, erasing time, and kind of starting from scratch. Let's see if this can be the nail in the coffin and something cool for us X-Men fans to say farewell to. So we got these cool wristbands because we're going to have a beer before. It's my buddy Jeremy, by the way. This is funny. They give us a wristband. We touch it. Oh, it activates. And then I'm able to pour, I think. We'll see. Oh, yeah. There we go. This is weird, dude. Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
And who knows what Arnold Schwarzenegger's character is like.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Hey, so what do you think, man? Think this movie's gonna suck or what?
Kind of bad things. We'll see.
I wanted to get your thoughts on it. What do you think?
I don't know. Hugh Jackman. That's gonna be a tough shoes to fill. He's not in it.
I know, man. This is gonna be. At least we'll be sitting comfortably if it sucks. So we'll see.
And we'll get a beer.
All right, Jeremy. We just got out of the theater, man. So what'd you think of Dark Phoenix?
I thought it was pretty good. It was
Yeah.
a lot better than 21% it got on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I don't get that, but really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Fassbender, my man, he killed it. Everybody killed it. Can't take anything away from the performances. I thought it was a lot better than what I expected it was going in.
So if you had to give it a grade score without any spoilers or whatever, what would you give it out of 5?
I'd give it a solid 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it better than Apocalypse?
Yes. Apocalypse was my least favorite.
And how about the prequels before, like Days of Future Past or First Class and stuff?
I liked First Class and Days of Future Past better.
Yeah.
But this one was good. I liked it.
And we kind of got some surprises in this one too.
Surprises.
Yeah.
Some really good action.
Hans Zimmer.
Oh, it was awesome.
Michael
awesome
Fassbender,
score,
like you said, kicked ass.
McAvoy.
Yeah.
Everybody. Everybody in it did great. Everything was good on that aspect.
Yeah.
It was really good.
So 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a solid review. It's a solid review.
Yeah.
So then I'll come back later on with my review after this.
Yes.
All right, man. Thanks, brother. All right, guys, we are back from the theater, and Jeremy and I had a pretty decent time with this movie. Now, overall, I'm going to say right off the bat, this is definitely not one of my favorite in the X-Men franchise. It's probably on the lower tier, but I'm not going to give it that crazy score that Rotten Tomatoes was. Something in the low 20s, guys. That is absolutely ridiculous, so I'll let you know right off the bat. Don't follow that Rotten Tomatoes score because that is total horseshit. This movie is definitely decent, if, you know, somewhat okay. It's not the incredible epic ending that we wanted in the franchise, which is, it's all right because they are going over to the Marvel Disney universe, and I know that they're going to start rebooting and just doing a whole bunch of solo projects, and the budget's going to be mega, and they're going to make crazy hundreds of millions of dollars. So that being said, Dark Phoenix is rated PG-13. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 53 minutes, and it did come out June 7th, 2019. Now, as you guys saw in the previous clip, Jeremy thought it was a pretty okay movie, even though some of the predecessors being a little better than this one. Now, the timeline gets really convoluted, guys, and I'm sure you guys can look up YouTube videos on seeing of how the timeline for X-Men is supposed to go, but it's just extremely choppy all over the place. Just know that this movie takes place in the early 90s, and in Apocalypse, it was in the early 80s. Now, that being said, a lot of people online were talking about how Magneto's character, Michael Fassbender, is supposed to be like 60 years old and he looks 40, and blame it on movie mutant powers or something. I don't know. So anyways, the story of Dark Phoenix, we pretty much see the X-Men being called upon by NASA. There's something going on in space with some of the astronauts, and they're not responsive, and they're not able to get out of this dark, crazy cloud that's floating around in the galaxy. They're calling it solar flares, but it's not sun solar flares, guys. It's something totally evil and dark, and this is where we get the X-Men flying to go rescue them. They don't get out in time. This is all in the trailer, by the way, spoiler free. Jean Grey does not make it out of that spaceship before that dark matter hits, and she is totally engulfed, and it goes through her, and that's where we get the Dark Phoenix element. Now, through the movie, we deal with Jean Grey, who's played by Sophie Turner's character. You guys know her from Game of Thrones and the last couple of X-Men films. She's dealing with all the things that are coming along with this Dark Phoenix power. It's almost like the opposite kind of what she normally is. And at first, it really hits her hard. It hits her emotional side. It starts triggering all these memories that were suppressed, and it lets out her rage kind of just unexpectedly. And like I said, she can't control it, but over time throughout the movie, she's able to control it and use her powers. Now, that seems cool on paper, but this first-time director did not execute this film that well. So this is directed by Simon Kinberg. He actually wrote on a lot of the other X-Men movies, but behind the director's seat, it's a whole different ball game, and you could definitely feel that it didn't really feel like an X-Men movie. It felt like an origin story for sure, but there was something lacking in that superhuman element of everything. Now, like I said, as Phoenix is discovering all of her powers, all these memories start coming into her brain, and she wants to chase the truth. She wants to find out what really happened when she was a kid. So throughout the movie, we get to see her interacting with other mutants in the past that have been evil, you know, on the Magneto side. So we get to see Michael Fassbender's character, who's amazing as always. I think he's probably one of the better new X-Men that we've gotten in the franchise. So as the movie progresses, she starts to find out a little more of the truth, and she finds out that she's been lied to the whole time, guys. So once again, no spoilers, but that's all you need to know, and know that there is some epic fight scenes from not only Jean Grey, Phoenix's character, but from some of the side characters like Storm and Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler has an epic annihilation scene that happens on the train, and woo! I was cheering, man. It was awesome. Now, one letdown right here was Jennifer Lawrence, guys. You could definitely tell she wanted to get the hell out of this movie. She didn't get much screen time at all, and she was someone that was really influential throughout all the X-Men movies pretty much, and she definitely had one foot on the evil side and the X-Men side. So it's really cool to see her interaction with this new family of hers on the X-Men side with James McAvoy and Beast played by Nicholas Hoult. So it's cool to see all those side characters kind of blossom, especially since a lot of them have relationships with each other. Of course, you have Mystique and Beast, and you have Cyclops and Jean Grey, so it's cool to see them kind of come together. And I felt like this movie was the one that they really started to blossom on the emotional side, so it sucked to see that this was the last one in the Fox series. Hopefully they keep a lot of this cast on, guys, in the coming up Disney and Marvel movies. I doubt it because, reboot purposes, they wanted to start fresh like always every couple of decades. But that being said, back to this story, guys. It had some pacing issues and some plot holes for sure. I mean, if you guys are diehard X-Men fans, you guys are going to pick it apart. I really chose not to. I wanted to go in it as a solo single film. And like I said, it felt like more of an origin story. So I wasn't trying to connect them to the other previous movies, even though a lot of the characters are from the previous movies, like Quicksilver. And that was another gripe of mine. Quicksilver gets barely any time at all. So what you see of him in the trailer, those are the only scenes he's in. So that's the shitty part sometimes about these movies, guys. I understand it's not a Quicksilver movie. It's a Jean Grey Phoenix movie. But they focus so much on the side characters like Nightcrawler, Storm, and some of the other characters that want. Even James McAvoy's character, Professor X, he was doing some damage, and he did more damage than Quicksilver. So one character I didn't know anything about was Jessica Chastain. She played Vuk, and whoa, her role, I'm not going to give it away once again, is crazy. She has a very interesting character, and she has some very interesting characters behind her, almost on some Captain Marvel stuff. And speaking of Captain Marvel, I heard the director actually changed and rewrote the whole ending of this film, the whole third act of Dark Phoenix, so that it would not copy the space ending in Captain Marvel. So it shows you how closely tied these stories can be in the superhero world. And I was actually really excited and happy to see the final outcome of this film, despite all the reshoots. I mean, you could tell once again, it was very, very choppy, but I was happy with the final ending of this movie. Though it kind of ended abruptly, I would have liked to seen it a little more stretched out after that train scene. So that's all I'm gonna say is after the train scene, I would have liked that scene to go on a little more epic, especially since this is the last in the 20th Century Fox franchise. So that being said, guys, I wasn't too bored. I mean, yeah, there was some long, drawn-out scenes where James McAvoy, Professor X, is always giving a speech, and even Magneto mentions that, oh, he's going to give a speech again. Yeah, he does a lot of speeches and stuff like that, and he tries to pump his team up and pretty much not play the bad guy, even though Professor X plays a huge hand of all the bad shit that goes on in the movie. I mean, he's still Professor X, the leader of the X-Men. So that being said, guys, I'm going to give this movie a 3.5 out of 5, saying it was just alright, but it wasn't an exceptional Logan type of X-Men movie that we're normally accustomed to, but it's definitely probably better than X-Men 3. So I don't know. But anyways, guys, have you seen Dark Phoenix? Are you going to see it this weekend? Or do you guys plan to wait till streaming and VOD to catch it? Let me know in the comments below. If you did appreciate this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe and bell notification to get notified about movie news and movie-related content on this channel. Thank you guys so much. Once again, follow me on my social media at Flix Talk Podcast. Once again, I'll put all that information below, so you can just click the bio, follow me. Let's get a dialogue started. All right, guys? Thanks for checking out the review. Till next time, I'm gone. Peace.